What's up, everyone? My name is Shiksha Mahtani, aka Bollygirl, and I'll be your host today on behalf of Pinkvilla USA. Now, today, our guest is Rushi Kota, the on-screen Indian guy everyone wants to know more about. He has recently come out in Never Have I Ever by Mindy Kaling as Prashant, the love interest for Kamla, played by Richa Mahtani. You might also recognize him as Dr. Vic Roy from both Grey's Anatomy and Grey's Anatomy V-Team. And not only that, but he was also featured in the iCarly reboot. Please join me in welcoming Rushi Kota. What's up, Rushi? How are you?
What's up? How's it going? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Congrats on your role. Super exciting. Can you talk to us about the audition process for Never Have I Ever?
Yeah, actually, that was a good audition process. It was a traditional audition, like I go on tons and tons of audition. I'm lucky and grateful that way. It was Brett Greenstein and Colin Daniels, who was the cast director on this, and then we got it. I remember there was I was in a transition in my life. There was a lot going on at that moment, so I was in this. It was a brand new energy that I was inhabiting as for myself as a person. And then I walk in. I don't know. I just felt like I was really clear on this arc as a character for Prashant. And then I walked in, I saw other candidates other actors who were going up for the role. And I just went in there and I just nailed it. And I felt it, they felt it. And I was like, this is that. You just know when you're all on the same page. And then on the way out, I remember one of the casting directors was he whispered, or he just said it out the door. He was like, that's exactly what we're looking for. And usually, in those times, it's, I've been in the room enough times where I'm like, oh yeah, sure. They say that and it could, you never hear anything, or, they say that and they're like, oh, they're really into you. And then 2 days later, I get a call that I'm pinned for this role. Can
you talk to us about what it was like working with Richa? Did you guys connect instantly?
Yeah, it was pretty instant. The chemistry was right there. And, when on season 1, when I walked in, it was just, everybody was just so open to the whole process and open to working with everyone. And, there was no attitudes, or there was no any sort of ego involved. And there isn't, because everybody is just so happy to be on set. And, we were both so excited about having the opportunity to be on set. And, I think we're just bonded over that.
What about the rest of the cast?
Yeah, I mean, even Maitri, and I got to work with Purna and Maitri, and, I saw Darren and briefly, but we were in season 1, we were in transition we're doing multiple scenes at the house. So we were all in the same in the waiting area, and we all just talk to each other. It was like we're all friends pretty much.
But when you were introduced as a character in the show, you were introduced as a potential arranged marriage candidate. And I want to know, is that something that you've ever had to deal with in real life? I know you recently got married. Congratulations, like a year or so ago, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so congrats on that. But was wondering if your family ever considered getting you an arranged marriage.
I mean, my mom always, it's so weird because I never thought about arranged marriage until the show came out. And then I thought back on it and I was just like, yo, literally all of my family have been arranged marriage. And I was the only, I know. It's like my mom, my aunts, my uncles, my brother. And I don't know. That thought never occurred to me that, my mom was, always trying to set me up, but not to the extent where, you know, she was hacking my bio data and stuff. I was like, Ma, no, it's not happening. And then she would just leave it at that. I mean, I've been with my wife now, like we've been married for a year, we've been engaged for a couple of years, but we've been together since high school. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool, sweetheart. It's nice.
Yeah.
What about the Indian accent that you have on screen for Never Have I Ever? Did you work with a dialect coach? Is that something you really had to practice? Does it come naturally? What's the story there?
For sure. I mean, that's a great question. It's something I've thought about long and hard. You know, Indian accents are, especially in Hollywood, they're portrayed with such negative influence because they're always used as a comedic vehicle. Mm-hmm. And I despised watching that on screen. It just made my skin crawl. So even for this, when they asked for an Indian accent, I was just like, like, I don't want to make fun of it. That's not who I am. That's not what I want to bring to this character. And so I mean, I know how to do an Indian accent. I think every Indian person does. Like, being Indian is like, it's just in you. It's in your DNA.
Right.
So, but I really try to, I worked on it for myself, and I tried to like lighten down the accent, and it's another layer that I added on, and the accent wasn't walking in the room. The character, everything that I did for the character was walking in the room, and the accent was just on top of it. So, you know, I've tweaked the Indian accent a little bit. It's not going to be a whole authentic like Indian accent, but yeah, it just it's a light version of it, and just it's again, just because it has such of a negative connotation in Hollywood, that I'm like, I wanted to differentiate it from that. Can
you share any funny or just fun stories or moments from filming season 2 and then also season 1?
Season 2 was, it's just a weird one because we were filming in the time of COVID. So, you know, it's like we're all, yeah, it was insane, man. Like, you know, March 15th, I got married, and then like my life before March 15th and then my life after March 15th, for like many people, it was like night and day difference.
No way.
It was a lot. It was like everything that I knew, you know, the day before March 15th didn't exist on March 16th for me. Mm-hmm. So going from, 8 months of being in quarantine and lockdown, and all of a sudden getting on set, and I'm like, oh, do I remember how to act? Do I remember my eye lines? Do I remember how to connect with people? Yeah, you know, it was, I was like getting on the bike and learning how to do it all over again. So the fun moments, yeah, I mean, there's a fun moment where in episode 4, you know, something happens between Prashant and Kamala, and then for some reason that we were shooting for an entire day, and you know, because of COVID, they just packed all the scenes into one day, so to limit your exposure on set. And I remember like going from just, oh yeah, I'm just on, you know, this lockdown and break the lockdown for so long, to all of a sudden we're working for like 16, 17, 18 hours a day. I got tired. And I remember we were filming one of the last scenes. It was the last scene of the day. And I got so nervous before this particular moment that happened. And I was like, yo, why am I getting so nervous right now? It's just easy. It's like, and you know, Richa was telling me, he's like, yo, don't put so much pressure on yourself. I was like, I know, I'm trying not to, but it's like, I don't know why I'm putting so much pressure on myself.
When was it? The show's come out, so it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, it's come out. Okay. Well, it's in episode 4. It's the moment right before I kiss Prashant and Kamala kiss.
Okay.
And I remember these words, but before we rip them open, always like tripping me up right before I have to kiss her. I was just like, I was just like eating my words, and I was like, stop it, stop doing that. Season 1, I think it was just being around literally the entire cast, and sharing the energy and the dynamic of the whole cast of like this is what makes the cast work. Even though I didn't have interaction with everyone, but like just being in the waiting room and like hearing people's stories before you know it became world famous. That was really fun to experience.
And what was it like working with Mindy Kaling? Did you get to work with her one-on-one at all?
So no, I didn't get the chance to work with Mindy Kaling. It's just because of COVID, honestly. Like, I wish I got to see her on set, but everything was just so aggressively locked down, and everybody was, 10 feet apart, and you gotta put your mask on when you're not acting, and then put your mask on when you're not talking. It was a lot. So they were just limiting everybody's exposure on set.
So maybe season 3.
Maybe season 3. I'd be like, yo, Mindy, what's up, girl?
How you doing? This show has been a real game changer for the South Asians in the US and in Hollywood. How accurate do you think the show is to the life of a Desi here in the US?
I think it's pretty accurate. Like, I watched the show like a week ago, and it is a very accurate representation of, the show transcends color, and that's what's amazing about it. And you don't just because they're in an Indian household and they happen to be Indian, all the things that they're going through is it's transcendent of just all planes, all genders, all everything. And it's very relatable, because I wish I had this show when I was growing up, because then I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't have to feel so marginalized, and I would feel like I fit in and there's a place for me in the world. So I think it's huge. It's huge that this is out. And what the amazing thing about this show is, there's literally a person for representing everyone out there. I mean, it's not going to represent 100% of the entire world, because that's just impossible. But that's impossible. But man, does it have an accurate representation and diversity for everyone out there, and that's what's freaking awesome about it.
Absolutely. So how do you think this is going to impact the younger generations of today?
It's going to be huge. It's they're finally seeing someone that looks like them on screen, and it's giving them an opportunity to be comfortable in their skin. And that's just, I don't know, just thinking about that makes me want to cry right now, because like growing up, all I ever wanted to do was fit in and be white, because that's just what's around me. And now the show's out there, it's like, great. Yeah. Like that. I relate to that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And not only that, but it's also going to normalize being brown with people who are white people, it's going to kind of normalize it, which is huge, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So apart from Never Have I Ever, you've worked on a lot of other fun projects. I have got to ask you about Grey's Anatomy. What was it like working with the OG cast? I have to know.
Yo, they like, I came in season 14, I think, and man, they were so dope. Like, honestly, they've been there doing that for over a decade, and they were still constantly finding the play and the love for doing what they're doing. And it was just, again, nobody had any egos, because they were all just so happy to be there. And I learned so much from Ellen and Chandra and James, Justin, DeLuca, and and they were all just very open and welcoming, and they've taught me so much. As my first, that was like my first big thing, to be on such an iconic show.
Totally. Did you have to Google things just to know what you're saying? Because
Oh, 100%. I was like, what? I was like, now
write notes. Okay, this is what this means.
Yeah. Yeah, they would actually send what are these called? They would send pages and notes of pronunciation of words and the meanings of words. Yeah.
No way.
And also, yeah, I got to sit in on some surgeries to kind of get an actual feel of like what it's like to be in
real
surgery. In real surgery. Yeah, that was terrifying. That was absolutely terrifying.
So how was shooting for Grey's Anatomy different to Never Have I Ever?
Grey's Anatomy is like a well-oiled machine. You know, they've been doing everything. They've been doing everything for so long. They have the crew, the sets that are all just ready to go. They're, you know, able to get things done within 8 to 10 hour days. Because they're just move very quickly and they know how to do that. All the stuff that they need is already there. They got people who are, you know, setting everything up. And then Never Have I Ever, it's a single cam comedy. So there's they don't have like, you know, 10 cameras Grey's Anatomy does to, you know, they don't have all those teams. So it's a much smaller crew, and they have their awesome studios. Everybody's just really well versed in what they have to do. So it's just naturally, it's just more of a bit of a process.
Well, what actually really surprised me is that your character's name was Luke Tyler, which is not Indian at all.
I know, dude. That's what made me so happy about it.
So confused for a minute.
It was really dope. Like I felt like I was, you know, literally living in somebody else's shoes for a day. And like 2 first names, like what? You know?
And nothing Indian about it.
I know, and that's what's awesome. That was so freaking awesome.
We're starting to normalize it a little bit.
Yeah. We're not there. We're not close to being there, but you know, we're making small steps, and I feel like we're literally part of the change right now.
But you learned a lot in regards to acting. So when you came back to the US, did you apply what you learned there here?
Absolutely. Yeah, because there was one major part of our acting training that we had over there called etudes, which are improvisational exercises. And these improvisational exercises require no words. And so now you have to take on the personality and create the life of an object, of an animal, of a situation, all of these things that require no words. You can use sound, lights, music, you can use movement, all of these things, but no words. And so you have to create something from beginning. An event has to occur, and then there has to be a resolution, like in all storytelling. Mm-hmm. And that, because every just TV and film are so driven on words, mm-hmm. right? That has taught me so much about living the life between the lines of what do you do with exploring silence? Because that is a very powerful tool, like we saw on Sound of Metal with Riz Ahmed, right? The exploration of silence, that is the most powerful tool.
Well, once again, congrats on season 2 of Never Have I Ever. Guys, you can watch that on Netflix today, so go do that.
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Right now. Go do it right now. Drop everything.
Go now and watch the whole thing.
I don't care if you have to pee. Just go do it now.
Hold it. Thanks so much for joining us here today, Rushi. It's been fun talking to you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.